Hello everyone, welcome to Hydra Book Reading Club episode number 8, and in this video I will continue on modulate. It's been quite a few videos. I think it's the fourth video of modulation, but as you know, modulation is, I would say, one of the most exciting things about Hydra, and there's a lot more to discuss. But I think this is the last in this series to talk about modulate, and I will cover several other functions, like the family of modulate functions that I didn't cover. I think it's not just like replace modulate with modulate hue, modulate scale, and everything works. It has their own little things that you want to know to make it more effective. So let's just type in and see how we can how we can modulate more things. Okay, so this is just one of the community sketches from Ranga. I think it does use modulate here and there, but just a simple modulate, like we discussed in the last videos. If you haven't watched, please follow the last episodes, because I talked a lot about modulate. Even I used P5JS to illustrate how it works inside Hydra. And also we discussed modulate hue, modulate scale. I wanted to cover all the modulate functions in one video, but it was obviously not possible. So I'm going to try to talk about two other things that are my favorite, I would say, like modulate scale, and two more, which are modulate rotate and modulate pixelate. I know there are other modulate functions, but they're a little bit too similar to each other, or designed in a way that is a little bit difficult to use. But these ones, modulate rotate, modulate pixelate, I'm sure this is going to be part of your repertoire if you follow this video. And okay, let's just quickly recap. And the easy way I would using this modulate scale, or just modulate, is fine. Of course, this is not the way we use it. If you watch the intermediate tutorials, you know that this is like a sandwich, and you put something inside here, like a nested sandwich. And for example, you can have OSC here, and you will modulate. And if you follow the last videos, you know that there's like red channel and green channel that are used in modulate, as well as modulate scale. And for example, if you do color 1, 0, then this modulation is only in the X direction, because we're only using red channel. And if you're only using green channel, that's like vertical, Y direction. Same with the scale. It's scaling instead of like pushing the pixels like in the other video. So it's the behavior is a little bit different, but you get the idea that red corresponds to X channel, Y corresponds to green channel. And I didn't use this trick, but there's also, if you're using modulate scale, there's something really exciting I really love, is this modulate scale with a gradient. Okay, this is not exciting, I know, but if you take, for example, just the green channel, then you see this kind of, what is it called? Trapezoid, this shape. And also if you do R, you can make it into this kind of Windows logo kind of thing. I'm sure you can do some masking with shape, and you can make actual Windows logo from Windows, is it 10? Windows 8? I don't remember all these things, but there's like a little, this really simple code, but it's something that you don't really see often in Hydra. Of course, you can color it with, using color function, or like overlay it with, this looks like Unity, if you get the reference. But why is it? Oh, because I'm using the blue channel as well. Anyways, so yeah, this is like interesting way to just how simple can it be, and like something you'd never imagine can happen. When I discovered this, I was really excited. I think I did a lot of experiments with this code with Floor, and make some kind of fake 3D effects. visual effects. And yeah, so this kind of thing I'm trying to do here, like in this Hydra book, as well as the Hydra book reading club. This is not about like adding more and more and more things, which is like easy. It's really up to you to add more things. Of course, you can change colors, you can make more animations, more modulate. It's easy to add more things, but it's always hard to reduce. And this is like a really good example that if you reduce it, and sometimes you can really make interesting with just, well, this can be like one-liner, right? So you can say this is a one-liner, and it's still like not like a lot of code, and you can achieve something that you don't really see or you don't really expect. And today, so I will go back to the topic today, which is, first thing I want to do is like modulateRotate, and this is an exciting one. And I always start with OSC. This feels a little bit like you wouldn't really see the difference between modulate. I mean, it's a different shape for sure, but the idea is like kind of the same, that in a way that is this waviness in the vertical direction because of OSC, obviously. But if you really want to like hack modulateRotate, just like how I was explaining in the intermediate tutorial, just start with small numbers. And in this case, it's not the small number here. Making this smaller doesn't really, oh, but actually it helps that it does look like it's like rotating now. And if you want to make this rotation more obvious, what I would do is to make this OSC frequency lower. So is it 50 or 60? I always forget. Whatever. But if you make it like 10, okay, it's a bit slow, so I'll make it a bit faster by, I don't know, 0.4 or something. And you can start to see that it's actually like kind of like this wiggle, funny movement. And I don't have to make it 0.1. Like if you do like this, then you can start to see like it's actually kind of rotating. Okay, maybe I'll make this frequency like even smaller. And then because this frequency and the speed of OSC, they are kind of correlated. So if you start from here and if you just like reduce the frequency, it will just go super slow. So you want to kind of crank this speed parameter up so you can see this happening. And with this frequency, like 1, which is like almost like just same color across the screen, right? If you just see it like this. Okay, I mean, there's like a gradient, but it's like really like almost like the whole screen is like changing completely like together. If you really want to make just one color across the screen, you can do pixelate 1,1. That's basically sampling at the middle and covering the same color, covering the same the screen space with the same color. I can do the same thing with this here. So now it's actually just rotating this shape, because now the whole OSC is pixelated in this one color. So this modulateRotate is like rotating the shape just with the one parameter, which is coming from OSC. I mean, so basically it's like rotating with a sine wave, or if you want to like recreate this with lambda function, arrow function, anonymous function, I forgot how it's called, but basically it's something like this. So you have math, I think something like this, and out. Yeah, now it's the range of the sign is different, so it's kind of going this way, that way, but it's the same idea that now the shape is rotating uniformly here. I'll just comment it out, and if we do this, it's almost the same idea, although OSC is only going from 0 to 1, so it doesn't go to the other side. Now, I don't know which side am I talking about, because now everything is flipped, or not flipped. Anyways, if you want to make it all the way to the other side, it's the same trick as I explained in the last videos. Brightness minus 0.5. Oops. Yeah, so now it goes all the way, not all the way, because now it's going from minus 0.1, no, minus 0.5 to 0.5 or 0.5. So if you want to amplify this, I think this is almost the same as this one. Yeah, I mean, the speed and the phase is a little bit different, but you see the range is actually mapped in the same way, right? Like this. I think the speed is a little bit different, but the idea is there. Or speed, or is it just a phase? It could be just a phase. And if I go really nerdy, I can correct the phase with the third parameter and so on. But also, like, what's interesting in modulateRotate compared to modulate and modulate scale is that in the previous ones, I always talk about red channel, green channel. But here, it's only using the red channel because rotation only works with one parameter in a 2D space. And we all work with 2D space now, so it's just taking a red channel. So it means that whatever you do with like color 100, it will not change anything. But if you, of course, get rid of the red channel, then it will not rotate because it's just frozen. It's kind of like halfway because of this brightness thingy, but anyways, it doesn't matter. So it's, in a way, it's simple because in modulateRotate, you just have to think about red channel. And if it's like a grayscale color, then it's just like, I would say it just doesn't matter. So OSC, it doesn't matter. Noise, it doesn't matter. I can also do noise. This is also an interesting one. And in the case of noise, I take this brightness out because noise always goes from -1 to 1 already. So, and this is like kind of, if you work with P5.js or processing, there's like Perlin noise or simplex noise or whatever tool you're using. It's basically the same idea that now we're taking noise, this simplex noise or Perlin noise, whatever, that is like, it's noise, but it's just like continuously going ups and downs, but in an unpredictable way. So now it's not like oscillating, but it's like going this way, wandering, like drifting away, but in a rotation. And this is actually difficult to do it in Hydra with like this notation because they don't offer noise function like in P5.js. I mean, noise is the noise texture. We don't have this like math.noise. This is not JavaScript function. So if you want to make something simple to rotate something in a kind of unpredictable way, this simple code can do this. And of course, you know, you don't have to work with shape 4 all the time. If you want to like rotate OSC, that's also possible. And this just like goes like whoop and then drifts or comes back or just goes away. It's unpredictable. I mean, it's calculated, it's deterministic, but also like from the eyes, it's very unpredictable. Now it's faster, but then it goes like slower at some point and so on. If you want this to go all the way 360 degrees, you can also put this pi number here so that it goes from 1 like half. So it's minus 180 degrees to 180 degrees. And also, you know, you can go crazy with this if you want like 9, that's also possible, so that it kind of goes round and round and round. You might want to slow down the noise instead of 0.1, maybe 0.03 or something, so that the speed is of the change of the noise is a little bit less than the, how to say, anyways, because now we're amplifying the magnitude of the rotation. You want to kind of slow down the noise so it doesn't go like crazy. But if you want something goes crazy, it's also fine. But in this video, I don't want to like make this visually not too busy, so I'm just like trying to take care of that. But it's up to you if you want to go like really fast. When I give kids workshop, they just like make numbers big and make it super fast. That's also fine. But that's what's you know, that's your choice decision. And here, what's interesting to do is like to work with this pixelate. So for example, now it's like this, but then if I completely get rid of this, okay, this is too much. This is not what I want. This is a little bit too much. But then if I say pixelate, like 2, 1, and now I can actually split the screen. And because pixelate 2, 1 means that you have 2 by 1, almost like pixels, right? So that's how it's pixelated. And you can actually see these 2 like split screen kind of situation, which is super interesting. And then you can go like 4, and then these 4 screens are split And this is possible in OSC, the case of OSC. If you do like shape, it's not that interesting because you only see these, the shape is like not big, so it doesn't go bleed into the side. So you can, of course you do like 16:1, but oh, okay, actually this is quite interesting because now it starts to split the shape itself. So this kind of thing is also possible. And what if I make this like number super big? Okay, that's not as interesting as it was. But then another way to work on this is like, what if I just said like OSC 1, 1, like noise can be like 1 as well. And then you can start to see like, okay, this is probably not that interesting, but what I'm essentially doing with this pixelate 1601 is you can just see it basically, and I'll just hijack this code. And what's happening here is that it's kind of like pixelating, the noise. So maybe just for illustration, I can do something like this, which is basically, and I can make it a bit faster. So it's kind of like taking just one line of noise and just stretching this out. You can also use scale with a big number. That's another thing you can do. But basically the noise itself is something like this, but I want a little bit of like kind of structure to it. So either you can do pixelate big number, comma 1. If you do like also, because this is basically the original noise almost, like it's not really pixelating because the granularity of pixelation is too big. This will make it into the other direction, which is this horizontal stretch. And you can also do a very similar, make a similar result by doing something like this. Yeah, it doesn't really change. Or, so tricky thing with the scale, if you watched all the videos and if you remember everything, I explained this, but this one affects both X and Y. And the second parameter only affects X direction, so it's stretching super wide in the X direction, so now it's like almost look like lines. And if you do add the third parameter, this is the Y direction, so now we're like humble with stretching in the X direction, but now we're stretching all the way in the Y direction, and it will make this. So you can decide if pixelate sounds more like easy for you to use, then just use this notation. If scale is more intuitive, then you can use this, but whatever that suits you. So going back to this, now like we're using this kind of like stripe noise thingy to rotate it. So you still have a little bit of like this structure of like rotation. You can see that it's not really rotate anymore, but still you can see that things are like going around in a way. And the other way to like make this kind of structure is, because rotate is like always like going this way, right? So what if we use Kaleido? So just recap, I can do this here. If you have a noise, and if you do Kaleido, but I pronounce Kaleido because it sounds easier. Let's say a big number. Then you have this like kind of, not radial. Is it radial? Yeah. No, the radial is like this way, circular. Let's say circular pattern like this. And if you do this as a modulator of rotation, you can rotate a shape in a very interesting way. In this case, maybe I will just crank up this noise. Oh, maybe not. Maybe because of this 9 is a bit too much. Maybe like 3. And just for illustration, I can also use OSC. And now you can see that this OSC is actually like kind of the swirl because of this noise Kaleido, this kind of structure that kind of goes together, this Kaleido that is like circular, and this modulateRotate, because it's rotating, it's something circular, is appreciated. So in this case, you can see that it's still like the rotation is kind of unpredictable because of noise, but you can see this kind of structure that's emerging, and it's like not blocking each other, but kind of goes hand in hand. And again, I'm using modulateRotate, so I'm not really taking care of this color part, because whatever red channel in this one. Only the red channel affects the modulateRotate. So I hope this is helpful, and I will dive into modulate pixelate probably in the next video, because this is already a lot of information. So you can, and of course you can always use, like, combine this and modulate, or modulate scale and modulate rotate, and all these crazy things you can do. So if you make something super interesting, please share it in the comment down below. I don't think you can put a URL, but you can just like copy and paste your code and you can share it, or you can like join like Discord group or Facebook group. And also there are like local chapters of TopLab groups. So in these like Discord group, you can ask around, you know, if there's anything in the city where I live. In Tallinn, I don't think, but I'm following some people in like Germany, Netherlands. So I'm sure like there will be like supportive community around you or on the internet. And I also see that this channel itself is like a kind of community. So I would love to see what you create. And in the next video, I will explore the last one, modulate pixelate, before going to the other chapter of this Hydra book. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye.